Well, good evening and welcome. This is the Veterans Forum. My name is Bob Stevens. Today is the 14th of January 2015. This program is coming to you from the Goffstown Community Television here in the Goffstown High School. This program is being put on in conjunction with the Library of Congress's Veterans History Project, wherein they've asked since the year 2000 stations such as this, and guys like me I guess, if they can and will make available the facilities and the talent so that any veteran, male or female, who has served in any of the wars, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Desert Steel, and whatever else the people want to have these days, if they can and will, come and share those experiences in a televised interview. That data will be fed down to the Library of Congress's database and will be there for anybody and everybody to have access to if they like it. Before I get started, though, there's something that I'd like to share with you. I got this a couple of months ago. It's a special program here in the state of New Hampshire where any veteran, male or female, who has had 6 months of service and an honorable discharge has access to this. The number 211 up and down the state, and if that guy or gal or their friends may think he or she might need some help, you probably can't read it. But this is the cadre of associations and peoples that will be there to help you no matter what the problem is. It's yours to use. You've earned it. Don't be afraid to ask for it. Now, today we have another fellow who did some things way back when. He's going to share some of his experiences with him. I'll ask Ivan to introduce himself, and then we'll take the show from there. Okay, my friend, if you would introduce yourself, spell your last name for the record.
Thank you for the opportunity for
you're
coming
nice
on.
and warm. Stay close. This is colder than the witches. Anyway, where do you live now, and what's your branch of service and your service dates, if you will?
My name is Ivan Beliveau. I'm a Goffstown resident. I've been in Goffstown since 1969. 45 years?
You're going to make it permanent, I guess.
Kind of looks that way. And I went into, well, let me back up. I started in Air Force ROTC in college.
Whoop, you're jumping the gun.
Okay.
Where do you now live, and what's your branch of service and service dates? Then we'll go back and see how you
I live in Goffstown. I was in the United States Marine Corps Reserves from roughly 1964 to 1970.
Oh, good stitch, okay. Now, what I'd like to do is the old show said, this is where you are today, but let's go back and find out how you got here. For example, where and when were you born? How was your life growing up in school? What you did in school? Anything special, outstanding, good or bad you want to share with us? This is your life. Let's hear about it.
I was born 2/29/44. February 29th, 1944. I'm 17 and a half years old. I'm a leap year baby.
You're more like a puppy dog, 7 years younger. Okay. Okay, leap into it.
Leap into it. Yeah.
Where were you born?
Wakefield, Mass.
Okay.
An hour from here, hour south. Been in Massachusetts, a couple places in Massachusetts, and then moved directly to New Hampshire.
What prompted the move? Your dad move, or you had just felt like getting up and going?
Oh, that's a long story. Why did I move?
We've got 45, 60 minutes.
You won't believe this. Do you know what sled dogs are?
Yeah.
I had sled dogs. They didn't take kindly to me in North Reading, so I moved up here figuring...
The dogs or the people around you? Which makes a difference?
No, the community took exception to the dogs.
Too much barking or too dangerous?
No, just too much noise, the principle of the thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of, I was right on the edge of Linfield, and I bought a house at the outrageously high price of $12,000. And that's sort of a separate story. When I went out of my backyard, I was in Linfield. I doubt there's a house now in that area that's under $1 million.
I know. I lived in West Peabody, right at the end of the
Okay.
East Street, so
All right.
Essex Street.
So you know what Linfield is
Oh
like.
yeah, been there, done that, as they say.
So for me to be running my
It pops up
sled
and
dogs
down.
through Linfield, people took exception to that. So it seemed safer up here, nicer, you know, different attitude,
Mhm.
live free or die. It was country. I bought 15 acres. It wasn't, what did I pay for my land?
Now, when in time is this? Because I wanted to try and find out where you were, what you were in high school and so on growing up. It sounds like to me you're back in business now. Well, I want some of your early life, if you can or will.
Well, I got an interesting story
Let's hear it.
about high school.
Good.
Went to Wakefield High and graduated in '62. And I played a little football there. And I had a coach, Bill Tye, who, I'll jump to the end of the story, is still
All right.
coaching.
After all these years?
After all these years, he's the oldest high school football coach in the country. And he became a really good friend. And I did a show similar to this. I do a show also. I've done shows like this, or at least with GTV.
Good.
So I interviewed and started talking to him. And he shared that he was a crew chief in a P-38 Lightning in the Pacific in World War II. I said, what? Bill, come on.
That's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago. And I said, none of us knew this. He said, my family didn't know it either. My family does not know it, does not know the story. So I thought I was interviewing a football coach. And then I found out he did a little period of time in something called the Depression in World War II. So all of a sudden it became a different kind of story. And he's still teaching.
Wow.
Bill
You ever-
Tye.
You ever meet him? Yeah, have interviews back and forth?
I see him about yearly.
Okay.
Our class, a class of '62, Wakefield High School has gotten tighter over the years. I think we get together to see who's left.
Oh, you
No.
mean closer rather than drinking tight, or both?
Nah, we don't. Nah, a lot of us don't drink.
Good.
I drank my quota.
Okay, fine. None of my business.
I think we're allotted a tractor trailer load. You can drink it quickly or
Yeah.
slowly.
Okay. Now, getting back to...
So that's what I did in high school. And I was an athletic guy. I loved competition. I played football. I did this. I did that.
Were you a good student?
According to them, probably not. No.
Well, how did you feel about it, though? You give it your best?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't like memorizing dates.
Oh,
I didn't care. Who cares?
when Columbus
date?
did it?
Yeah. Who cares what date this happened or so forth? I can go to the library, look that up.
Yeah,
So
if you
no,
need it, yeah.
no, I got in a lot of trouble because I didn't like taking tests and memorizing dates. I said, you want to talk about why there was a World War II or something? Now that's interesting. I read a ton of books. I read tons and tons of books
Okay.
about. I loved Russian literature, histories. Oh God, hadn't thought about this, but yeah, reading about World War II was utterly fascinating from the Russian, from the German, from the American perspective.
Yeah. All three of you and the Japanese.
Pardon?
And the Japanese.
Yeah.
That other group.
Yeah, Kurt Vonnegut wrote a book called Slaughterhouse-Five, and he was in Dresden, Germany when it was firebombed. He went into he was a German prisoner, and he was sitting at night. They put him in this underground slaughterhouse for safekeeping, and they was deep underground. When he came back up, the next morning, Dresden was gone. And more people perished in Dresden than they did in Hiroshima or Nagasaki.
For real?
For real.
Wow.
So, I mean, those
There's
stories.
all kinds of stories no
there's
matter what you
there's
do.
more stories than you can imagine.
I'm going to be nosy, though, and still try to get back to where I wanted to go.
You should do that.
Okay, with your permission. Do you have any family, brothers and sisters, any of them in the service? So I'm trying to build a little bit of a history.
I have a brother No, he didn't go in the service.
Okay.
I have kids in the service. My daughter is in the Middle East right now. She's doing her 9th tour
In Kuwait.
in 12 years. Yeah. I asked her what she's doing there, and she says, "Dad, if I told you, I have to kill you." So
No, you didn't go there.
I didn't go there. I've got a couple of her kids. Her kids are scattered. Her husband's in South Korea. Between the two of them,
He's also in the service?
he's in the service. They're married. Yeah, they're married. And it's very difficult being married under these circumstances.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm afraid that, when you read the contract, the government gives you a contract,
Mhm.
and there's some fine print on the back side that says something like, "Oh, and we can do anything we
Yeah.
want in an
No matter
emergency."
what you say.
So I'm concerned that she'll be
Oh,
kept
you
there.
said 9 tours, 7 or 8 tours. Usually I thought it was 2 or 3, and then they kept you stateside or put you someplace else. Okay.
They told her that. They told her she went to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri to get in the Big Red One. She was in tanks. She said the tanks will never, well, they were. The tanks were sent. We're in Kuwait, and we're preparing for,
God knows what.
I don't even want to know.
Okay,
I'm
we won't
sick.
go there. Let's go back to you then. When did you decide, and how did you get interested in going in the Marine Corps? When and how?
Well, I started out, as I said, in college. I was in Air Force ROTC. I liked to fly. I'd bought an airplane, liked flying and all this, so I was considering going in as a pilot.
At what age, roughly? 20s, early 30s?
I was 20.
Okay.
20. And so that deal, this is a long story, but that fell through, and I figured if I'm going to go into the military, I want to be the best trained. So I felt the Marine Corps and the training at Parris Island would be the best. I wanted the best chance of surviving.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Seabees, the Navy, I mean the Marine Corps is a branch of the Navy.
I know.
So anchors away.
Yeah. The hard way. Although Jarheads and Marines and Seabees, as far as I know, they did the good stuff. And I had
Seagoing
been to apprentices.
bellhops?
Yeah. No, never been on a ship, but that's beside the point. Okay, get back to you. Where and when did you get in? And how did you get there?
When do I?
Where and when did you get in the Corps, and how did you get there? Transferring from civilian to military.
Well, I went to Parris Island in '64.
Okay.
January, February or something in '64, just before my 21st birthday. In fact, I had my 21st birthday at Parris Island.
Now keep peeling spuds.
Yeah, it was funny. You want to hear a story from Parris Island?
I'd like to get you in there first. You haven't got there yet. You haven't told me when you got there and
February
how you got there.
'64.
Okay, and what was your first 2 or 3 days like when you got there, going from civilian to boot camp? That's what people like to find out about. How did you react to it?
Well, because I was a tough guy, because I did football with Coach Bill Ty. You know what coaches were like in the 1960s, early 60s?
Yeah, I have a recollection. Yeah,
You-
the scars.
You have the scars.
Yeah, and that's on a good day. Anyway.
I was a tough guy. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Oh, aggressive?
Well, I was a tough guy. I mean, I had done
Okay.
scuba diving. I'd done this. I'd done that. I taught weightlifting. I did lots
Okay, tough
of stuff.
physically, but I'm talking about your
Tough.
mental attitude. Were you aggressive? The world's going to owe me or something, or just had
Well,
your
that
own
happened when I got out of Parris Island.
Okay, all right. But let's stay in Ireland for a while. I'd like to get your reaction to the first 4 or 5 days when they told you what to do and you had to damn well do it. Did you lip off to sergeants at all? Corporals?
Did I?
Did you ever lip off to sergeants?
No,
Okay.
no. No, I sort of laughed. I laughed.
Okay.
I got them madder. I got them madder by laughing. If they did a little physical contact, I sort of laughed.
Not if they, when they. Okay. No, tell it like it is.
They don't do that today.
Today
In
they're not allowed to.
Paris Island, they don't
Oh,
touch
no.
them. But then back in those days, they did. If you ever saw the movie Full Metal Jacket,
Oh, yeah.
that's what it was like. That's what it was like. R. Lee Ermey was a drill instructor,
Mhm.
and I've met many drill instructors, and yeah, they were tough. But I thought I was tougher, so.
Okay. Now, how tough were you? Have any gigs, any departments, any extra duty?
No.
So you must have towed the line, no matter how tough you were.
I didn't toe the line once. I went over the hill.
Oh, really?
I went
AWOL?
over the hill at Paris Island, yeah. I got a Dear John. I got a Dear John letter from a girl that I thought was going to marry me and was going to wait and all this, so I got a Dear John. So I went over the hill on flat Paris Island, headed for the swamp. And I got caught, of course, and I thought I was finished. And my drill sergeant looked at me and said, this event didn't happen. Take the day off. Make whatever phone calls you need. This event didn't happen. You're going to make a good Marine. Forget about it. It didn't happen.
Okay, so you lucked out.
I earned it. I remember him just as Staff Sergeant Smith. I acknowledge you and thank you.
Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, then what? What kind of training would you have to do? How'd you qualify? What any testing did you take to come up with a specialty? I know every guy's every guy's a gunner.
Everyone in the Marine Corps is a basic rifleman.
Yeah.
You
can't
can't
be a
qualify, then you are disqualified. You do not. There's only 3 ways to leave. There was 3 ways to leave Paris Island: a green suit, a white suit, or a pine box. The white suit was the straight jacket. On the pine box is pretty obvious.
Yeah.
And there were a few of those. And you had to be mentally tough because they had like the obstacle course. You had live fire exercises. You were in mud. You were climbing under mud. You were climbing under wire, machine gun live bullets going over your head, TNT in the bunkers beside you. It was pretty intense.
Okay.
It was really intense. Not everyone could take the pressure. And there were some kids.
They had to weed you out. I was told by several Marines that their memory is that when they got you in, they just about tore you down and then piece by piece put you back together.
Totally.
So at the end,
Oh, sure.
you
Oh,
are
sure.
a Marine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They have a lot of corners to knock off of you?
No.
Okay. So you weren't the tough guy after all, really. You may be here, but I have nothing but the respect, because let's face it, we were and are butters in arms and that kind of stuff. But I think it was great. Okay, now what'd you qualify for? Gunner, platoon leader, or what?
Actually, you go into the military and you got a degree in electronics that make you a cook.
Oh, yeah. You're completely unqualified, but you're going to be a good cook.
So I flew planes and did all this stuff, and they decided I was qualified to be a heavy equipment chief. Somebody needed some heavy equipment, a heavy equipment chief. So I went into second engineers. First, I qualified for this Army Engineers School, Fort Belvoir, Virginia. They sent me there to be a heavy equipment chief and a heavy equipment operator, and that qualified me, and I ended up in second engineers. I actually got extended, my duty got extended, so I could take this program at Fort Belvoir, and I ended up second in the class out of, I don't remember how many, there were hundreds, but I came in number 2.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby.
Now, by heavy equipment, is that just what I'll call construction equipment as opposed to tanks and personnel carriers? Which is the differentiation?
It was bulldozers,
Okay, scrapers, pans, all that stuff.
scrapers, front end loaders,
Okay,
all the, yeah.
and then what?
Well, and then because I was in the reserves, active reserves, we got stationed in Lynn, Massachusetts. And we had our unit there. And we moved rubbish piles. We'd go to summer camp a couple of weeks every year to California, El Toro Naval Air Station. We do duty
Was that
in
your
the summer.
2-week summer tour bit?
Yeah.
Okay, maintaining your status. Okay.
Yeah, play chicken with cranes and tractors and
Been there. Oh, this could be fun. All right. Okay. Now, where else did you do? Where else did you go?
well, a lot of it down south. Cherry Point. Cherry Point seemed to have been a regular. So yeah, Naval Air Station, El Toro, California, and Cherry Point, North Carolina, a few times.
And then what? A few times. I'm not trying to kill time, but we.
Well, I mean every summer. I mean,
Okay, that's what I'm trying to find.
yeah, every
There's a
2
schedule.
weeks every summer.
Okay.
Wherever we went, they never wanted us.
Oh,
No.
sound like Richmond, Virginia. Sailors and dogs not wanted.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
used to hide. We used to spend time. This is bad, Bob. We used to. It was
No secrets. I don't want to be killed.
No, we used to try and we'd find ways to hide and stay out of their way.
Yeah. I won't ask where and how. All right. Okay. Now, as you're progressing, were you promoted anyway from PFC to
Yeah.
corporal?
Oh, yeah. I
So-
made it to sergeant. I made it to platoon sergeant.
Okay.
Yeah. I went up well to platoon sergeant, and I was up for E6 staff sergeant. They offered me that for another.
Sign up.
Yeah, but see, that was 1970, and that was the height of the Vietnam War,
Mhm.
and it was not fun to be in the military. It was not fun to be seen in a uniform or anything else. It was not fun to be a platoon sergeant in the Marine Corps in Naval Air Station with short-timers coming back from Vietnam with full beards, full ponytails. And if you saw the movie Apocalypse Now, you know what I'm
Mhm.
talking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
Those guys came back, and the first platoon sergeant they saw was Sergeant Beliveau, and that was really ugly. Just staying alive was ugly.
No, coming back. I know.
I mean, in the Marine Corps, in the military, giving an order in Vietnam could get you fragged. Meaning, just simply giving an order as an officer, they'd go by with a grenade and throw it under your tent. It was nasty. And when you came home after Kent State, and the hate in this country for any military type,
I know.
it was just extraordinary. I didn't want anything to do with it. In fact, I remember in 1970, I said I will never shave again. I grew a big beard.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't want any. Oh no.
This
That's
is
a
baby fuss.
That's a baby beard. I mean, I said I will never shave again. So.
Now, did you gone overseas, or you all stateside duty?
No, it was strictly stateside. They
Okay.
didn't send the reserves over to Vietnam.
Oh.
So I did not physically go to Vietnam.
Okay.
So I got to see it. And I guess there was even some guilt around that. You know, I had half my platoon, and some of this, gets pretty emotional. Half my Paris Island platoon was killed in Vietnam. So you have a similar. I'm sure you
Yeah.
have. You've lost many.
Oh yeah, a lot of body bags.
A lot of body bags. Yeah. So half my Paris Island platoon died there. So
No, that.
we don't even need. You know what that's
you,
about.
You don't go there. Okay. When did you get out of the service? And what have you done since then?
1970. Oh, by the way, well, we'll
Any
forget that
any
one.
stories you want to share?
There's a veterans cemetery in New Hampshire. Where is it? Help me with that.
Boswell?
Boscawen.
I can't pronounce it. I'm a Yankee.
Boscawen.
Boswell. Yeah, I've been up there.
I've been going there now,
Yeah.
too.
And if a cemetery can be nice, that was a nice place.
Because every day, they're there.
Doors
during
are
the-
always open.
Yeah, the doors are. There's a ceremony going on
Yeah.
every hour,
I know.
every day. So that's that. Yeah, Boscawen. And I must tell you, I'm also meeting a heck of a lot of veterans in their 90s. Extraordinary. In the last few weeks, I have met at least 6 different military types that are really impressive. In their 90s, they're fully out there. The recruiting unit in Manchester, there's a gunny there. I don't know if you know of him. There's a gunny who's obviously running the place, and they're doing terrific programs. Habitat for Humanity builds homes for homeless people.
Yeah.
Habitat for Veterans builds these kind of homes for veterans.
Yeah.
And that's ongoing.
Well, they have a show
Tremendous.
down there, Building Dreams for Marines.
Yeah,
They get through doing Bernie Zurich's place a couple of months ago.
yeah,
We did a show on that.
yeah,
Well, yeah.
yeah. So I've met a half a dozen of these guys, and they're really terrific. They're really sharp. They are really sharp, really out there. They're in their 90s. And man, when they shake your hand, I sort of brace for what's coming.
That's why I never squeeze anymore.
They've got a grip on everything,
Oh, yeah.
and they're very impressive.
And it's still the old routine. You take care of my back, I'll take care of yours.
Yeah, yeah, and they're helping veterans, and it's not the government and government money. This is private money, private donations.
I know, in private time.
And private time. It's really it's pretty moving. It's good stuff.
One of the strange things I've found out about it, and we're digressing, I guess, but a lot of the guys have stuff that they need, but they just don't. They're too damn proud to ask for it.
Big
That's
time.
the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes is getting someone to volunteer.
Well, I think they are suffering do you think they're suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome?
I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist,
Do
but you
think
can't help but suffering from something.
After seeing what they saw, would it surprise you that some of them are wounded in more ways than one?
You can't see the scars inside,
Can't see the scars inside, yeah.
and a lot of them have them.
Yeah.
And zip, zip. This is
Am I
a
getting you
family
in trouble?
program.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we're not getting. We're going down the same road, but it's a problem.
I kind of cautioned you in the beginning that I'm pretty much anti-war.
Yeah, and me too.
I think it's insane. I just think it's insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, and enriching a very small class of bankers. I think it's insane.
Okay, well, I can't wave the flag either way on that one, but it has to be examined and rectified. I think one of the best things, though, that I was one of the 90-year-olds, as you may or may not know, answering the questions that hopefully this show will answer. The little kids say, "Hey, Grandpa, what did you do in the war?"
Yeah.
Well, when my grandkids asked me that, I hadn't been hard for a while. And finally I said, "Now, not being smart, but which war do you want?
Yeah.
World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Shield, Desert Storm?" "No, the one you were in." I said, "Okay, now we got that set." But remember, the World War I was supposed to end wars. World War II was cataloged as the Great War. Korea was the unforgotten war, and Nam was the place we shouldn't have been, in my opinion, to begin with. And Desert Shield, let the camel drivers take care of their own backyard. Stay the hell home.
And the only reason I speak up the way I do is because of my children and their children.
Yeah, the grandkids.
And to say that, well, I was only following orders is really poor, really poor. Because I took an oath to not follow illegal orders.
Yeah.
And if there was this little thing called the International Criminal Court in Germany after World War II, and those who said I was only following orders, it's called the Nuremberg defense.
Yeah.
Well, the rope still snapped taut. Following orders is not an excuse.
If you can justify not doing it, mutiny is another word they use sometimes, but it's common sense, I think. But we're not lawyers.
One of the tough things they taught in the Marine Corps about the Uniform Code of Military Justice in Article 90, and about the need to not follow illegal orders. So the burden was on how do you not follow illegal orders?
Who defines what's illegal? And when you're paid, yes, sir. Okay.
And following orders is no excuse.
I know, it's a thin line.
Thin line.
Very
Thin red line.
Red line, yeah. Some president did one of those one time, I think. Okay, now that we're out of the war situation, what have you done? If you get back, did you take advantage of the GI Bill, for example, go to school, take any more learning, any business, anything
Nothing.
like that?
Nothing.
Can you share some of that with us, what you did, good or bad?
Well, my dad, who was in World, we mention my dad?
Not yet.
Dad landed at Omaha Beach D-Day +6. And when was that? 41?
Should be 45.
Should be 45.
No,
Thank
D-Day
you.
is 44. Okay.
44. My mother and father, my mother wanted to get married, and my father said, and have a child, and he said, no. He said, the probability is I will not come home.
Amen.
He said, I won't be coming home. So she begged him, and here I am.
He must have made it home.
Yeah, but I didn't see him for a few years.
Oh?
Well,
Hospital?
he was still over there. I was born in 44, and he came back sometime the end of 45, 46, and he come back a totally changed person, completely changed person.
In what manner? Physically, mentally?
I would say mentally. Let me jump ahead a little bit. He went into, at 65, he went into a deep depression. And I took care of him for 25 years. He lived with me for 25 years. And he had to, I mean, the kind of treatment he got to stay alive, to keep him eating, it was pretty profound. I mean, I could write a book on stress and post-traumatic stress syndrome. And
On the caregiver side. Yeah.
They say caregivers die first.
I know.
So I took him around, and I learned a great deal about depression and that impact on. So I didn't see my father for 3 years. I shared with you my daughter not seeing her kids. Her kids are scattered.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm doing and what I intend to do is share as much as I can so that future generations do not have to go through this. This has to stop. Time out, guys. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result is one of the definitions of insanity.
I know. But the problem is, who's going to do it? And we can't get in a political discussion.
It's
here.
our job.
It's our job.
You're
right?
doing it. I intend to do it. I am doing it. I'm speaking out.
Yeah. Bringing it up so people can see it.
Does that qualify me as a terrorist because I'm speaking up against some of the
Well,
policies?
not if you have a yellow rose on your shoulder blade. You're
Okay.
cleared. Okay.
Thank you.
No comment. All right. But now, what are you doing recently? You must have had some kind of a job. What did you do? And how did you do it? Making a living, yourself and your family. What about your family?
I have survived on sheer wits. I had a 30-year corporate career. My job was eliminated 7 times. We've sent our good jobs overseas. Most of our good jobs have left. Our companies have left. They're in China. So in essence, I've been unemployed 7 years. And prior to that, my job had been eliminated at such companies as Exxon, Polaroid, Cabot, 3M Corporation, excuse me. They've left this country. 3M is on the Dow Jones. If you know anything about Dow Jones, there's 30 companies. 3M is on there. It's not even an American company.
What do you mean? Brought
Because
out by
the bulk of their sales are outside the United States. The bulk of their manufacturing is outside the United States. Most of the 3M plants are gone from this country. It's not a U.S. company. And they laid off 5,000 and 10,000 a year because they said, we will do more with less forever. And my little pitch about that is because there are negotiations right now in Congress with this Trans-Pacific Partnership, TPP and TTIP. Our government, doesn't matter which party, I think they're both equal. They're both run by these corrupt corporations, but we are negotiating in Washington, D.C. right now, shipping a heck of a lot more jobs out of this country. And this country can print money, but you can't print jobs. You can't print wealth. You can't print trade. What is going on?
Okay.
Who is hollering?
Who knows?
There's
That's
my
the-
rant.
yeah,
You like
okay.
that one?
Your rant, okay. As they say, the spleen has been vented. But the problem, though, is what can we do about it? Talking about it doesn't do any good among us because we don't have the power, as far as I know.
What we need to do is we have infinite power with our wallet. We can vote with our wallet. We can vote with our wallet and where we spend and what we spend it on. We can certainly educate us, but I think the answer is that we start to do things locally. We form small units of family
The
and
grassroots
friends.
groups.
Grassroots, and there's words like open source, entrepreneurial, cooperative,
Transparency.
transparent,
Oh, yeah.
all of those words. Small local groups, 100 or less. We lead by example. It's lost, it's gone. We're not going to change it, but we can start to create its replacement.
But if it's all gone, what are you going to replace?
We can grow our own local food. We can heat ourselves locally. We can manage ourselves locally. If we are open source, if we share information, if we share our healthy food, if we don't want our kids to be poisoned by Roundup and become autistic, then we can grow our own healthy food. And New Hampshire has initiatives to make that happen.
Right
That
now?
That is right now.
Okay.
Right now. You want to do some homework? Look up Farm to Plate Initiative. That's an initiative in New Hampshire, Farm to Plate. What it means is somebody in New Hampshire leadership, live free or die, thinks that being able to grow healthy local food without restrictions is going to be beneficial in the future. That just maybe we're not going to be able to buy food, healthy food from Mexico or California. You know, they're not going to be shipping in strawberries from California in January. It's going to be a risky, expensive proposition. And to keep our grocery shelves filled, we need the capability of filling them locally.
Yeah, but I'm not an agronomer, but the climate here won't support that kind of stuff. You're going to have a rather straight diet of stuff, wouldn't you?
You're going to have to grow
Change
things.
your pattern of living.
It turns out there's a heck of a lot of stuff you can grow in your own house. You can build structures. You can build tunnels where you can protect from frost. You can literally do greenhouses and hothouse. You can dig down.
Geothermal.
Geothermal. Yeah, geothermal. Okay. Solar. Heat. Composting.
That stuff takes money. Solar heat, it's great, but you got to pay for it.
Yeah,
you got to have talented people to put it installed, I would guess.
It turns out that there are sources of money too. There's funding for this. There is a possibility of grants. It turns out that a well-written grant for a viable project. There are still people in Washington D.C. willing to spend money and buy these tunnels for you. You
Oh.
can get a $5,000 grant to build a.
You have to have the right words, though.
Oh, you have to have the right words. and
Everything is the
all
word.
of that. But that's where your small local group, entrepreneurial, open source. Open source means that this information is available for free on this little thing, you know.
You know, it keeps the kids' attention.
Keeps the kids' attention. It also is a great resource.
No?
So there are positively, this is not the end of the world, not even remote, but it is the end of the world as we know it. And for some people, it's about time. Because of the internet, because of this media, because of local people being willing to speak up, there's a lot of truth going out now. You or I might say something, I hope good.
I hope
I
so.
intend to say good, but it could go viral. You and I could say something that could get picked up on YouTube, on the media, whatever, and in 24 hours, 1 million people have watched it and listened to it. It's gone viral. You know the expression?
Really be careful, because this is going to be a good program.
So, and I'm absolutely not advocating for 1 second violence. It's totally non-violent.
It has to be.
It has to be. It has to be. It has to be non-violent. So I'm not for 1 second saying any of this is violent. But I'm also not saying that anger isn't appropriate.
No,
Appropriate anger.
You got to pick your battles.
You got to pick your battles, and you pick your battles, and you pick your friends, and you work smarter, not harder.
Okay. To that point, let me ask you kind of not a wrap-up, but a wind-up question. Would you catalog or categorize your experience in the service as a positive and negative impact on your life and how you've lived and what you're trying to do? Good and or bad?
Yes, it's been both. It's been because I went to Paris Island, because I got to see it, and I didn't go through the, for lack of a better expression, the meat grinder. It was
the
both
obstacle
good and
course,
bad.
yeah. All right. What else?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. I mean, and I mean, I've met a lot of really great people. It's been both good and bad. It's been both good and
All
bad.
right. We end it right there, I think.
Sure, if
Okay.
you like.
As they say, press the fresh. Ooh, you're so nice and warm. Thank you. All right. That's a wrap, folks. Short and sweet, but to the point, I think. Again, before I sign off, my little bit, remember this, 211, okay, if you need some help. And to those guys and gals who may be on the cusp, not knowing if they can or want to share their experiences, please, if you can and will, give me a call. The program address will be on the back. We'll do all we can to make it worth your while, but more important, we want to make sure that we get the stories out. 2 things to remember. This, you'll be given a copy of whatever your program is. Perhaps it'll be one of the cheapest, but the most priceless legacies you can leave your family. Because you're reporting history as it was made by the people who made it. The problem, though, if you don't tell your own story, nobody else will, and we've lost it. Okay? But on a better note, please, if you can and will, come and see us. Bob saying thank you again. Good night.